Hello and welcome to On the Mat with Lydia, that's me. And whatever has brought you to your yoga practice today, you are very welcome here. Today's practice is arm balance basics. So this class is an introduction to the building blocks of your arm balances. So if you are new to arm balancing or if you just need a refresher on arm balances, this class will give you those building blocks you need to build up an arm balance practice. So these are poses that you can throw into your yoga asana practice whenever you want a little challenge, a little more intensity. And like any yoga pose, it's really about not the pose itself, not what it looks like, but how you find yourself in the pose, your experience in that pose. So in this class, we'll have a lot of work for the wrists, the shoulders, and the core to take us to those arm balances. And of course, you'll have the opportunity to experiment with a couple arm balance poses today. So whenever you're ready, let's get on the mat. Let's start out today in a comfortable seated position. So please make your way to your seat, rooting down through your hips, lifting tall through your spine. Relaxing your arms onto your legs, and perhaps closing your eyes if that feels safe and comfortable for you. Giving yourself a moment here to arrive on your mat today. Tuning in to the sensations of your body. First noticing your weight sitting on the mat, the parts of your body connected to the earth. Then noticing the internal sensations, the spaces in your body that feel open and light, the areas of your body that might feel a little bit more tight, crunchy, tense. Drawing your awareness through your body from head to toe without judgment, but as a way to take stock, to see what you're coming to the mat with today. And once you've completed that little body scan, now shifting your awareness to your thoughts, to your mood, to your emotions. Noticing what else might be with you on the mat today, acknowledging with acceptance, with grace. Knowing that all of this is allowed with you in your practice today. Or if you so choose, you can set it to the side, maybe put it on a shelf for now. Come back to it later after your practice. And finally, we'll bring awareness to the breath. Really noticing this flow in and out as you breathe through your nose. Following this rise and fall as you find a steady rhythm of breath to really root you in your body, to calm your mind, and to set you firmly in this present moment. Breathing in and breathing out. And when you're ready to move, I invite you to gently tuck your chin towards your chest. Feel that stretch through the back of your neck. And then begin to roll your left ear over towards your left shoulder. Feel that stretch through the side of your neck. Then move back through center and move right ear over to right shoulder. Do that a few more times, coming through center, left ear to left shoulder. And then again through center, right ear to right shoulder. Making these little rainbows to stretch the neck. Just finding a bit of movement, a bit of awareness here. As we get into our arm balances, we'll notice a lot of action here around the shoulders, the upper back. So we want to make sure we're creating some space here. Now the next time that your chin comes back to center, slowly lift your head, lift your gaze so that you're looking straight forward. With your next inhale, lift your shoulders up to your ears. And as you exhale, drop your shoulders back and down. Let's do that again. Inhale, shoulders to ears, squeeze, squeeze. Exhale, shoulders back and down. A few more rotations here. Again, waking up the shoulders, bringing some awareness here. Maybe getting out a few snap, crackle, and pops as well. Beautiful. One more, inhaling to draw your shoulders up and exhaling to roll your shoulders back. Relaxing your shoulders down. Now bringing your forearms together here. So we're creating this kind of fin shape with the arms. We'll interlace the fingers and we'll start to roll through the wrists. So keeping the elbows, the forearms together as you roll through the wrists here. Maybe switching directions if you can figure it out. A little bit of brain work there as well. And then keeping this interlace of the fingers, let's bring the wrists back to stillness. Open your elbows nice and wide, let the palms separate. Then we'll start to wave through the arms all the way through the fingertips, finding this nice, very hip dance move here. Another great little stretch for the wrists all the way through the hands. And again, you can switch directions if your brain will let you do so. Just finding this little stretch here, waking everything up before we get going. Nice. Once again, fingers are going to stay interlaced. Let's take an inhale to push the palms up to the sky, lengthen through your arms. As you exhale, reach everything over to the left. Root down through your right hip. Feel that stretch through your right side waist. Then inhale again to lift back up through center, nice and tall. Exhale, reach over to the other side. Rooting that left hip, pushing out to the right. You got it. Inhale, back up through center, reaching tall. Now as you exhale, arms come forward as you round your spine back. Push forward through the palms, draw back through the belly button. Take another inhale. And exhale. Now inhale, release that interlace of the fingers as you sit up tall. Sweeping your arms back behind you this time, let's interlace those fingers. So drawing the palms towards one another as you lengthen your knuckles away. Shoulders roll back, lifting your chest. Maybe even lifting your chin if that feels okay for your neck. Let's take another inhale here. As you exhale, gently release that interlace of your fingers, and now plant your hands behind your hips. Please uncross your legs, plant the soles of your feet to the floor, and let's plant down through all four corners here, hands and feet rooting to the mat. Roll your shoulders back as you inhale here. With your exhale, push away from the floor, lifting your hips, dropping the head back into your reverse tabletop. Keep pushing away from the mat, lifting the heart, lifting the hips. Inhale. As you exhale, slowly lower down. Booty finds the floor. Arms sweep forward as you inhale and lift your feet, coming to your boat pose. Drawing the legs together, the belly button in. Taking a big breath in. And as you breathe out, cross your shins, rock over onto your hands and knees, and let's take it back into our downward facing dog. Let's take a few moments to settle in here. So already we've been doing a lot. We're waking up the body, especially the arms, the hands, the core. Now we're going to get a little bit more into some of the strengthening work that we need to really find these arm balance shapes. So in your down dog, maybe take another moment or two to pedal the heels, wiggle your hips, get yourself situated. Then spread your fingers nice and wide, claw down through your fingertips as if you could dig a hole into your mat. With your next inhale, shift your weight all the way forward to a plank, shoulders coming over top of your wrists. With your exhale, push those hips back and up into your down dog. With your breath, inhale, shifting forward, find your nice strong plank. Exhale, send it back, downward facing dog. Again, inhale forward to plank. Follow your breath. Move at your pace. Exhale, downward facing dog. One more like that. Inhale, plank. And exhale, down dog. This time as you inhale, shift forward into your plank. With your exhale, gently lower your knees to the mat, kneeling plank position. Take an inhale here, lifting through your chest. As you exhale, elbows tight, lower all the way onto your belly. Inhale, baby cobra, feet down, heart up. Exhale, lower your forehead to the mat. Push through your hands, lift through your navel. As you inhale, press up through your kneeling plank. Oh yeah. Exhale, toes together as you sit your hips back. Child's pose. Take a breath in here and breath out. We're going to flow that sequence with the breath 3 more times, building a little more strength around the shoulders and core. When you're ready, let's do it. Planting through the palms, inhale, shift forward, kneeling plank. Exhale, lower down, hugging your elbows in. Inhale through your baby cobra, lift your heart. And exhale, lower down. Push down to lift up with an inhale. And exhale, sit back to your child's pose. Take your time, make this controlled as you inhale, shift forward to your kneeling plank. Exhale, lower yourself down. Nice strong chaturanga arms. Inhale, rise your heart. And exhale, lower down. Inhale, pressing up through that kneeling plank. You got it. Exhale, back to child's pose. Just one more time. Let's do it. Inhale, shift forward, kneeling plank. Exhale, lower all the way down. Inhale, rise your chest. And exhale to lower. Inhale, press up, kneeling plank. Exhale, child's pose. Sitting your hips towards your heels, does not matter if they touch. Melting towards the mat. Moment of rest here. Relax your belly, your arms, your fingers and toes. Let's take a breath in and breath out. As you inhale, shift up once again into that kneeling plank position. Tucking your toes behind you, use your exhale to send your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Pushing up through the hands, lifting through the armpits, the hips, rooting down through your tailbone, your heels. Take your next inhale to sweep your right leg to the sky, 3-legged dog. And as you exhale, shift forward, right knee to your nose. Your inhale is going to sweep you right back into that 3-legged dog. Exhale, shift forward, knee to nose, strong arms, strong core. One more, inhale, sweep it back. Exhale, knee to nose, this time stepping your right foot in between your hands. Gently lower your back knee down when you're ready, finding your low lunge. Now this is a great place to bring in your blocks if you'd like. Perhaps bringing your hands onto those blocks, lifting the earth up to you. Now wherever you are in your low lunge, root your hips down, lift your heart up. Let's take an inhale here. With your exhale, begin to rock your hips back. As you do so, lengthen through that right leg. Soft bend in your right knee as your hips move back and your heart reaches forward to fold any amount over that right thigh. Pausing for a moment here, let's take a breath in and breath out. Rolling on the sole of that right foot, let's rebend the front knee, come back to your low lunge, planting your palms around that right foot. Now, please tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Listen carefully here. We're going to push up, drawing the navel in. Let's slide that right foot off the floor, knee to chest. Then send that right leg back just halfway, dropping your right shin down at the middle of your mat. Stay rooted through your right hand. Drop your inner left heel down. And with an inhale, sweep your left arm open, coming all the way to your side plank. Beautiful. Push through that right palm. Hug those shoulder blades together behind your heart. And as always, make sure you're breathing here. Let's take another inhale. As you exhale, slowly release. Left hand comes down. Square off your hips, so dropping that left hip in line with your right. Still on that right shin, still reaching that left leg back. Now that left foot is going to travel all the way to the right edge of your mat, starting to feel a side stretch for that left side waist. If you'd like to add on, you can look back over your right shoulder, see if you can spot those left toes. Now, while you're here, make sure you're not dropping the ribs or the belly. Keep everything lifting up, hugging into center. You got this. Take another breath in here and breath out. Inhaling back to center, gaze comes forward, left leg reaches back behind you. Now pushing through your palms, let's step that right foot back to meet the left and find plank. Let's take an inhale right here. As you exhale, lower all the way to your belly, slow and controlled. You got it. With your inhale, lift your heart, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, send your hips back, finding downward facing dog. Pause for a breath in and breath out. You got this. Let's take that same flow on the other side. So as you inhale, sweep your left leg up and back. Exhale, knee to nose, hug it in. Again, inhaling to sweep back, find length. Exhale, knee to nose. One more time, inhale, sweep it back. Exhale, knee to nose, this time stepping that left foot to the top of your mat. Back knee lowers down when you're ready. Situating your hips into your low lunge shape. Take a moment, anchor down through that left foot, stacking front knee over front ankle as you square off your hips. Now let's take an inhale here. Feel that stretch of the hips, that lift of your heart. With your exhale, begin to rock your hips back, lengthening through that left leg as you do so. Soft bend in the left knee, pushing down through the left heel. Feeling that stretch through the back of your leg as you fold forward any amount. Find your breath here. Let's take another inhale and exhale. As you inhale, rebend your front knee, rock forward to your low lunge, this time planting your palms around that left foot and lifting your back knee. Now really scoop up through the belly, navel to spine. Use that strength to lift your left heel towards your body, drawing your thigh towards your chest, and then scooting that left leg back, dropping your left shin at the midpoint of your mat. Coming down onto the inside edge of that right heel, bringing weight into your left palm, and then taking a big breath in to sweep your right arm open, moving into your side plank. Feeling that wingspan through the arms, that length through your right side waist, as you strengthen through the underside of the pose. Let's take another full breath in here. As you breathe out, gently release right hand down, squaring your hips, lengthening that right heel back behind you. Now that right foot is going to travel to the left edge of your mat, kicking back as you feel that side body stretch. You can add on by looking over your left shoulder towards your right heel. Keep pushing through your palms, lifting through your belly as you create some space in that right side waist. You got it. Let's take another inhale here. Exhale completely. With your inhale, come back through center with the head, with the leg. And let's step it back into our plank pose, everybody's favorite. Let's take another inhale here. As you exhale, slowly lower to your belly. Take your time. Roll your shoulders back as you inhale, lift for a cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, hips up and back to downward facing dog. Let's take a breath in here. As you exhale, lightly land your knees. Open your knees as wide as your mat. Bring your big toes together behind you. And let's sit it back into our child's pose for a moment here. Rest your head down onto your mat or onto your hands, giving yourself a few moments to release the weight of your body into the earth and take a few deep breaths. Letting yourself come back to that steady rhythm of your inhales and exhales. Feeling all the strength you've already built in your body through this first half of the practice. And let's take another breath in here and let it out. When you're ready to go, take an inhale to rise up out of your child's pose. We're going to stay on our knees here, bringing the legs a little bit closer together. And then walk your hands back until your palms are planted just in front of your knees. Now we're going to lift the hips away from the heels here. Push into the palms. Claw down through your fingertips. Once again, as if you could dig holes into your yoga mat. That's how much your fingertips are pressing in. And then imagine hugging your upper arms in towards your ears. So rather than letting your elbows flare out, we're hugging in, turning the pinkies out to the sides. All right, so clawing down, hugging the upper arms in. Now really lift your belly button towards your spine, starting to round your back. Push so much into your hands that you start to lift your knees away from the floor. Hold this for as long as you'd like, curling in to lift up, and then lower down, take a rest. You can sit back, roll out your wrists a little bit here. So with this press, we're practicing that placement of the hands on the mat, that hugging in of the upper arms, but also this lifting of the low belly, helping us get light enough that we can lift our hips and eventually lift our feet off the mat. So let's try that again. Clawing the fingertips down, bringing your weight forward. Push down to lift your knees up. Maybe this time you want to play with lifting one foot off the ground, curling it in towards your glute. Dropping that foot down, lowering the knees. Reset. Take a moment to breathe. And then we'll try it again, this time lifting the opposite foot. So planting the palms, lifting your knees. Feel that curling in and then lift, heel to glute. Hold it as long as you can and then drop it down. Lower your knees, roll out through your wrists. Awesome. You're welcome to try that as many times as you'd like, really building confidence with shifting weight into your hands and finding that core engagement. So our arm balances, of course, have our arms involved, right? We're balancing on our hands. We're using that strength from our shoulders. But most of the strength, most of the lift that we need for these postures comes from our core. So building a lot of strength here is going to help you out tons. All right, so for today, maybe you want to stick with those presses that we just did. If you'd like, we're going to take this into our crow pose now. So from here, we're going to come to our toe balance. So tucking your toes underneath you, rock your weight back, lift your knees, and find a little balance on your toes. So again, you can stay right here, building this strength of hugging the navel in, holding yourself up, and even feeling the squeeze of the inner thighs coming together. Your inner thighs, part of the core. So this is another option for you today. You have your presses, you have your toe balance. Or we're going to take it all the way into our crow. So for this pose, hands are going to come down to the mat in front of you. We're going to spread the fingers, claw through the fingertips, just like we just practiced. And think about hugging the upper arm bones in. Now, like we did in that press, think about lifting your hips. So hug your low belly in to give you that lightness, that buoyancy. Feet are going to stay together. Knees are going to open out. Think about bringing your elbows to your triceps as you bend your arms like chaturanga. Now, as the arms bend, look forward. If you look back, you're going to roll over. So we want to look forward. We want to look where we're going so that we can fly. So hands planted, knees to the triceps, leaning forward into those chaturanga arms. Now squeeze the belly, curl one heel up towards your booty. Drop that foot down, curl the other heel in towards your booty. Drop down, take a rest, roll your wrists. So as you can see, we're building this up. This does not have to be an all or nothing practice, right? We want to build this strength. So maybe you do crows today, maybe you don't. That's totally up to you. We're going to try the full thing now. So we have our pieces, palms planted, arms hugging in, toes together, knees to triceps. Shift your weight forward as you bend your elbows like chaturanga and look forward. Use that hugging of your core to lift one foot and then the other. You're flying in your crow. Think about hugging the legs together, even though they're not touching. And think about squeezing the belly up, up, up to the ceiling. You can come down whenever you're ready. Take a rest, roll those wrists, roll those shoulders, take a breather. Beautifully done. You can try out your crows many times as you feel like today. When you're ready, we're going to take a little stretch, take a little breather before we keep going. So let's meet in tabletop position when you're ready. Feel free to pause the video if you want to try that crow a few more times, and we'll all meet back together here. Let's take an inhale here to sweep the right arm open to the sky. As you exhale, thread your right arm underneath your left, dropping down onto your right shoulder and right ear. Hips are going to stay lifted over your knees. Left hand can stay by your nose or walk forward towards the top of your mat. Really bring some weight over towards that right shoulder. Feel some stretch into the upper back, into your neck. And see as best you can if you can relax through your fingers, through your palms, through your wrists. Giving yourself a little break after that kind of intense, challenging arm balance there. So remember, your arm balances are just another pose you can bring into your practice. And like any pose that we do in yoga, it's not about nailing this pose, getting that perfect Instagram-worthy picture in your crow. But it's really about what you find while you're in the pose. It's about challenging your expectations of what you think you're capable of. And noticing that you are expansive, you are capable. Noticing perhaps that in finding that crow, you find a little bit of joy in your practice there. And let's take another inhale here in our thread the needle. And exhale completely. Bringing that left hand back towards your nose. Inhale to press up, sweeping your right arm open. And exhale that right hand down. Awesome, wiggle it out if that feels nice. And then we'll take that to the other side. So this time, inhaling to sweep your left arm open. Exhale, thread your left arm underneath your right, reaching until you come down onto your left shoulder, left ear. Maybe walking those right fingertips forward, finding a little length under that right armpit. And breathing into this stretch for the left shoulder, left side neck. Once again, as best you can, relaxing fingers, hands, wrists. Even softening the spaces around your eyes, between your eyebrows, around your jaw. As we get into this strengthening work, these more challenging postures, we tend to bring tension into parts of the body that aren't even really involved in the pose. All the efforting can build a lot of this kind of tightness or scrunching through the face, through the fingers, through the toes. So give yourself this chance to release, balance it out a little here. Let's take another full breath in. And complete breath out. Bringing that right hand back towards your nose. Use your inhale to rise. Sweep your left arm open. Exhale, drop down to your tabletop position. Wiggle it out. Beautifully done. When you feel ready, we're going to make our way back into downward facing dog. Hands come forward, toes tuck behind, pushing the hips back and up. You might feel already that your arms feel a little different after that crow pose. Maybe feeling a little stronger in the shoulders. Let's take a breath in right here and let it out. Now with your next inhale, please sweep your right leg back behind you, three-legged dog. As you exhale, right knee finds your right arm. Inhale to sweep it back, three-legged dog once again. Exhale, knee to right elbow, hugging the navel in. One more, inhale, sweep it back. Exhale, right knee, right elbow, this time stepping your foot to the outer edge of that right hand. Back knee lowers down. Settling into our lizard lunge here. Take a moment, drop the hips down, wiggle it out. Then planting through your left hand to right thigh. Take an inhale, open up into a twist. Exhale, hugging your shoulder blades together behind your heart. You can let that left hip drop down a little bit more as you lean back, open up. Really find this lightness through the chest. Little release for the spine and hips here as we inhale once more. With your exhale, slowly unwind. Right hand coming to the inside of that right foot. Now moving into our lizard stretch here, you have a few options. So your first option is right here, lifted on the palms, feeling that sweet stretch into the right hip. Option 2 is to lower down halfway onto a block, a pillow, whatever you might have handy. And option 3 is to bring your forearms all the way down onto your mat. Now, whatever level you choose here today, Make sure there's no forcing your body, there's no pain, pinching going on around that right hip. Just finding a place where you feel the stretch, you feel the sensation without any extreme discomfort. And we're going to stay for about 5 rounds of breath here. So settle in, really dropping your hips down, finding your breath. If you do start to feel some pinching around that right hip, you can always try turning your right toes out slightly to a diagonal. See if that opens up a little bit more space. And let's take these last 2 breaths here together. Breathing in through your nose. And breathing out through your nose. Again, breathing in. This time, open your mouth, let it out. Nice. Now, when you're ready, if you're not already there, please lift back up onto your palms, keeping this lizard position. From here, you have the option to move into your flying splits arm balance. So once again, today you can work on the steps leading up to the arm balance, building your foundations first, which I always recommend. Or you might play around with moving into that full expression of the pose today. So for this shape, we're going to start in our lizard. Please tuck your back toes behind you. We're going to get ready to power up that back leg. Now lower that right shoulder down to the inside of your right knee and see if you can bring that right hand underneath your right leg. Now remember those chaturanga arms. We're going to lean our weight forward into the hands and start to walk that right foot out to a diagonal. Doesn't have to be pretty. Start to lean your weight forward into your hands, bending the elbows into that chaturanga. Start to lift that back knee now, powering up the leg. Think about bringing your left elbow to the front of your left hip. Continue walking that right leg out, that right elbow supporting your right thigh. Maybe eventually that right foot wants to lift off the mat. Maybe the left foot wants to join, finding your flying split shape, this kind of scissor leg action going on. To come down, we drop the feet, we sit back. Again, doesn't have to be graceful, just has to get us there. Roll it out, shake it out, whatever you gotta do. Try again, try a few more times if you'd like to today. So once again, going slowly through the foundations, lizard lunge, right arm underneath the right leg, lifting that back knee, finding power as we chaturanga through the arms. Right foot is going to walk out as that right elbow supports the right thigh, left elbow supports your left hip. Right foot will lift first, then maybe the left leg will follow. So you can always try today just lifting that front foot, see how that feels. Maybe just lifting that back knee is good for today. Go to your level, go where you want to go with it. No worries. When you're ready, again, try as many times as you'd like for today, but we're going to meet seated on the knees. So finding yourself kneeling here, toes tucked behind you. Let's lift up to stand on the knees. Please wrap your left arm around your waist. Take an inhale, sweep your right arm up to the sky. As you exhale, sweep that right arm back behind you. Again, inhale, circle the right arm forward. Exhale, circle back and down. One more like that. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, back and down. This time, sweep that right arm forward in front of you and move it to a slight diagonal here. So it's like that right hand is reaching in line with your left shoulder. Then that left arm is going to do the same thing, crossing underneath your right, reaching to that diagonal. Bend your elbows now, bring the backs of your hands together. See how that feels for your shoulders. If you feel okay, no pain, no strain, then you can wrap the wrists as well, bringing your palms together. Finding our eagle arms here. Lifting your fingertips to the sky, spreading your scapula on your back. Let's take another inhale here. Then as you exhale, draw your elbows towards your belly button, tuck your chin, curl everything in. Breathe into your back body. Take an inhale and exhale. As you inhale, slowly lift up once again with those nice eagle arms. Exhale, slowly unwind and roll the shoulders a couple times. Beautiful. Now, when you're ready, we're going to come back to our downward facing dog. Try out that whole lizard sequence on the other side. So planting into the palms, rooting down through the balls of your feet as you lift your hips nice and high. With an inhale, sweep your left leg up and back to three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee to left elbow, crunching in here. You got it. Inhale, sweep it back, find length. Exhale, left knee, left arm. One more time. Inhale, sweep it back. Exhale, bring it in. This time, left foot stepping to the outer edge of your mat. Back knee drops down, setting up for our lizard. Rock around a little bit if that feels nice. Settle into your hips. When you are ready, that right hand is going to plant on the mat. Left hand comes to your left thigh. Take an inhale to turn your chest open towards your left knee. As you exhale, really press through your hands and feet, lifting you up away from the mat. Feel this gentle twisting through your spine, this lifting through your chest. Maybe choosing to really drop that right hip, lean back into that right hand. And let's take another inhale right here. As you exhale, slowly unwind that twist. Left hand comes inside of the left foot. Now settling into our lizard stretch. You know your three options here. You can stay lifted on your palms. You can lower down halfway, coming onto a prop. Or you can come all the way down onto your forearms, finding that stretch for your left hip. Now you might notice that your left hip feels a little bit different than your right. So you don't necessarily have to go into the same variation that you did on the other side. You can experiment, explore, find what feels best on this side of the pose, and then settle into stillness there when you're ready. We have 5 more rounds of breath. Using each breath here to create a little bit more space around the hips, the pelvis. Letting there be some openness here so that as we move towards that flying split shape, we have that range to really lengthen out and to fly. Now all together, let's take one more inhale here. Open the mouth, exhale. Awesome. Start to lift back onto your palms if you're not already there. And let's get ready for our flying splits arm balance. So once again, totally optional. If you don't want to do this one today, no worries. Also, reminder that as we come into the pose on this side, it's probably going to feel different than the other side. It might be easier, it might be more difficult. So meet yourself wherever you are today, no expectations. So we know our foundations here. We're going to get that back leg ready to power up. We're going to get the arms ready for that chaturanga shape. That left hand is going to come around to the outside of the left foot, tucking that left upper arm underneath the left thigh. So claw through the fingertips here as you start to bring some weight forward, start to chaturanga those arms. And then walking that left foot out to a diagonal as you power up that back leg. Right elbow is aiming for the front of your right hip. Left elbow stays underneath that left thigh. As you walk out, maybe that left foot wants to lift, maybe lengthening the leg, lifting that back knee, letting the ear come towards the mat. Maybe the right leg wants to lift as well. See what wants to happen for you here today. There's no need to force anything to happen. Your body will go where it wants to go today. We want challenge, but we don't want pain. So try it out, maybe take a break, roll out the wrists, roll out the shoulders. You can come back into it as many times as you want to try today. Remember, you can always pause the video and get back into it, whatever feels best for you. When you're ready to stretch it out, we're going to come back to our kneeling position. So meeting here on the knees, toes tucked. Let's lift up to stand on the knees. This time, right arm hugging around the waist. With an inhale, sweeping your left arm to the sky. Exhale, sweeping back and down. Again, inhale, sweeping your left arm up. And exhale, sweeping back. One more, inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, sweep it back. This time, inhale, left arm straight out in front of you. And then moving to that diagonal, left hand in line with your right shoulder. Right arm will come underneath the left, so you're making an X with your arms. Bending at your elbows, start to bring the backs of your hands together. See how that feels for your shoulders. If everything is fine and dandy, you can wrap at the wrists, bring your palms together as well. Now hips can stay lifted off your heels, or you can sit back for this one. Lifting the elbows about in line with your shoulders, feeling the stretch through the upper back. And let's take an inhale here. As you exhale, begin to curl everything in. Elbows towards your belly button, chin towards your chest. Breathe through the back of your neck, your back, your hips. Let's take another inhale here. And exhale. Inhaling back up to those eagle arms. And exhale, unwind, take it slow, rolling your shoulders. Beautifully done. Let's come to seated on our bum. So bringing yourself all the way down onto the mat now. Scooting to about the midpoint of your mat, and then lowering yourself all the way to lay on your back. Should feel like a very sweet release after everything we just did on the mat here. Take a moment as you land on your back to hug your knees towards your chest. Perhaps wrap your arms around your shins or your thighs and give yourself a nice big hug here. Could feel nice to take a little rock side to side, kind of massaging out the low back here as well. And let's take a big breath in and slow breath out. Gorgeous. Let's keep that right knee hugging in towards the chest. Begin to stretch that left leg long down your mat. Take a moment here to squish the toes, roll through the ankle. Any movement that feels nice here. And we're going to take this into our twist. So using your hands to draw that right knee up and over your body towards the left side of your mat. Anchoring your right shoulder down as your hips begin to stack. And finding yourself in your reclined twist. Now, I always like to use my left hand to support that right knee. If you'd like, you can also use a prop here underneath the leg or let it hang out in space. That right arm might like to stretch out to your side, maybe in a T or a cactus shape there. And once you find a comfortable position where you can be still, let's settle in for about 3 more rounds of breath. Maybe even closing your eyes here if that feels safe and comfortable for you. Slowing things down. slowing the pace of the practice. And let's take another inhale here. As you exhale, slowly come back through center, back onto your back, hugging that right knee to your chest one more time. And then switching out your legs, bringing that left knee in, stretching your right leg long. Take a moment to wiggle the toes, roll through that left ankle. When you're ready, moving towards your twist, drawing left knee up and over to the right side of your mat. That left shoulder is your anchor point connecting you to the earth. Perhaps it feels nice as well to stretch that left arm out to your side, spreading the fingers wide. And as you start to find stillness here, let your body get a little bit heavier. Relaxing the muscles of your legs, your hips, your belly, your back. And allowing yourself to be supported. We're here for about 3 more rounds of breath. Taking it slow. Letting the body really integrate all the wacky stuff we did on the mat today. And let's enjoy one more inhale here. Use your exhale to slowly roll back to center, back onto your back, hugging that left knee in towards your chest. Once again, we'll bring the right knee in to meet the left, hugging into center. Hands come to the backs of your thighs now as you spread the knees nice and wide. Start to kick your heels up to the sky now, ankles in line with the knees as you gently draw your thighs down towards the mat, coming into our happy baby pose. Now hands can stay here heavy on the backs of the thighs, or if it feels better for you, you can reach to the inside of the legs and hold on to your feet. It might even feel nice to play around with a little bit of movement here. Perhaps rocking around, bending and straightening through the knees. Taking some time to explore this shape here. Last little stretch for the hips as we wind down our practice today. And we have about 3 more rounds of breath to play here. Perhaps even just enjoying some stillness, soaking it all in. Let's take one more breath in our happy baby. As you breathe out, slowly collect your legs together in front of your chest. And then 1 foot at a time, drop the soles of your feet onto the floor. Stepping your feet nice and wide, right foot to the right, left foot to the left. Allow your knees to drop in towards one another. Maybe they touch, maybe they don't. If that feels icky for your knees, you can always keep your feet planted in line with your hips. Perhaps your eyes close if they're not already, as you settle into the support of your yoga mat. Letting yourself really appreciate everything you've done here today. Whether you've gone for those full arm balances or you're working on those foundational steps, your body has done so many amazing things here today. I invite you to take this moment to thank yourself, to shower some gratitude on yourself for even showing up to your mat today. For taking this time for you, for doing the thing. And I welcome you to take the last few minutes of this practice in Shavasana, your final resting pose. Maybe staying here, maybe lengthening your legs out, arms coming by your sides. Maybe adding some props, finding a blanket to put over yourself, getting all comfy cozy here. Enjoying this time in which all you need to do is rest. Easier said than done some days. But this is your time to relax, to breathe, to be. And this is where I'll leave you for today, to enjoy your Shavasana. I thank you so much for meeting me on the mat. Namaste.